We're back with another edition of the Allied Rivals podcast. Today we'll be talking about the NBA playoffs, and I can't wait to see Cademan's reaction to how the Bucks are down 2-0 to the Miami Heat, but we're excited. It's time to get started. Let's have some fun. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all already know that we are back once again with another episode of the one and only Allied Rivals podcast. My name is AJ Herschel, also known as The Kid, and y'all already know that I'm here with my partner, Cademan Bauer. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, pretty good. I'm a little tired from school and everything and all the homework, but it's been pretty good.
Nice. I feel you on that. I feel you on the homework part. I'm doing good. Been busy trying to keep up with the sports world, getting ready for a bunch of fantasy leagues and, just general stuff like that. So I'm excited. Some dude tried to offer me a ridiculous trade for DJ Moore, and then another guy offered me a ridiculous trade for Devontae Adams, both of which I basically ignored. So
oh, good for you.
I didn't even entertain that for a second.
I've had a couple of ridiculous trade offers too.
Yeah, and you're the one offering them.
Ridiculous trade offer. No, I did that once, and I accidentally sent you one.
Yeah.
When it's supposed to be to this other guy who sent me a ridiculous trade offer. So I was like, I'm gonna counter that with another ridiculous trade offer, and he was like, no way. Hey, and this is our 10th episode. So
this is the 10th episode. That's crazy, man, to think we're already at 10. Oh, my goodness. That's crazy. Well, we expect to make more than 10 for sure. We'll keep going. We're going to have a dedicated episode strictly to news because there has been a stupid amount of news that has come out over the past week, especially with MLB trade deadline, NBA playoffs, stuff like that. So we'll get to that later this week, maybe tomorrow, hopefully. But tonight, it is all about the NBA. So really quick, we're going to hit just the most basic news around the sports world. First off, baseball, really fast, your division leaders, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, a game ahead of the White Sox. Oakland, Atlanta, the Cubs, and the Dodgers. Also, I think the Dodgers are technically the first team to clinch a playoff spot. I think they have a 100% chance of getting in last I checked, which is crazy. So that's the MLB really, really fast. In the NHL, we've got Vegas and Vancouver tonight playing game 6. Vegas is up 3-2 on the Canucks. Colorado and Dallas are tied at 3. They play tomorrow to see who goes to the Western Conference Finals. The New York Islanders up 3-2 on the Philadelphia Flyers. Tonight is actually happening right now. We've reached the end of period 2. Islanders are up 4-3. We'll be sure to keep you posted on that at the end of the episode. And the Tampa Bay Lightning already just disposed of Boston handily 4-1. This is not another one of those seasons where they get exited in the first round. That is not happening. Meanwhile, a little bit of NBA news. We all knew the Lakers had advanced, as well as Miami, Milwaukee, Boston, and Toronto, all either 4-0 or 4-1. But the two big news, first of all, Ja Morant won Rookie of the Year. Ja Morant did. And also Steve Nash is now announced as the head coach of the Nets. And since it's an NBA video, we're only going to comment on these two for now. We'll take a whole bunch of time for news in our next episode. But just really quick, Cademan, thoughts on hearing Steve Nash is going to coach the Nets and Ja Morant is Rookie of the Year? What are your first thoughts?
I think that Ja Morant definitely deserves it. Like, he was phenomenal. Like, I don't even think, there were other guys voted for Rookie of the Year. But in my opinion, he had it. Like, there was no question. And then Steve Nash, cool. That's cool for him, you know? He was playing on the Suns. He was like one of the best free throw shooters. I've seen a lot of his highlights. He's fun to watch. I'd say just like good for him, and I'm sure the players are really happy that they're getting him. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I know some people were like, Zion could take it, but he only played like half the year, and though he was great, Ja Morant basically carried the Grizzlies on his back the entire year. So, yeah, there really wasn't any competition there. Steve Nash is going to be interesting in Brooklyn, who somehow made it into a 7th spot with no KD and no Kyrie for the majority of the year. It'll be interesting. Next year, they're going to have a healthy Kyrie, a healthy Durant, and a healthy DeAndre Jordan, hopefully, if you're a Brooklyn fan, with one of the all-time greats of the 2000s in Steve Nash coming into head coach. It's going to be fun to see what he does, because I don't think he's really at all.
No, so I mean, it's going to look like, if no one gets injured, it's going to look like a really dominating team.
Oh, yeah, for sure, sure. Yep. So that's pretty much all the news. We're going to cover most of it, like I said, in a future video. Also, really fast, just want to acknowledge we had 2 major sports deaths in the past week. Georgetown March Madness winning head coach John Thompson died at 78, and one of the all-time great pitchers, Miracle Met Tom Seaver, also died in this past week. Thoughts and prayers to their family and friends. We're very sorry. The sports world has lost 2 incredible icons. And that is pretty much going to wrap us up with the news, Cade, unless you got anything else.
I do not. Let's get into the stuff.
So the NBA playoffs have entered the second round. We had 3 that we didn't get to talk about that much, but we will try not to spend too much time on that. First off, the Clippers woke up. The Clippers woke up and took it to the Mavericks, winning the series 4-2. Caden, what were your thoughts on that series just overall?
Yeah, so I felt like Luka Doncic played amazing, like out of his mind. But I felt like especially his bench wasn't like helping him enough. Yeah. And so like as soon as you had like one of his fellow starters out, like taking a break, the Clippers would take over. Yeah. And so eventually that hit him, and the Clippers, I mean, they were amazing. I think they just needed to get the rhythm, and they definitely got it going.
Yeah, I agree. I think in those first 4 games, Kawhi was kind of just hanging in most of the. He was obviously the star, but I mean, they'd still dropped 2 games to hobble Luka Doncic. But Paul George, man, game 5, he stepped up and showed the reason. Hey, here's why I'm the number 2 on this team. I'm still here. He showed up. And I think if the Clippers are going to click like that, there's a reason why a team that lost to that barely beat the Mavericks by 2 points, then beat them by 40 in game 5.
Yeah.
The reason why, and it's Paul George's back. If the team chemistry is the same, it's going to be really scary. The next big one, Denver versus Utah, the Nuggets and the Jazz. Utah blew a 3-1 lead. Cademan, thoughts on that series?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really sure what to think about this when I saw it. I mean, like, both of the teams are great, don't get me wrong, but neither of them have the depth in the roster as the Clippers, or like a ridiculously awesome star, like even someone like Russell Westbrook on the Rockets. They're kind of both like really solid teams with not like one star, but you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I mean, it didn't surprise me. Like I could have seen that series going either way. But I mean, the Nuggets just definitely got it together after they were down 3-1 and took it over. So I don't have much thoughts about that. What do you have, AJ?
Well, for me, I think first of all, what's crazy is Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray had some of the greatest individual just shootouts in NBA history. I mean, we're talking Donovan Mitchell breaking records. He's up there with Michael Jordan now as the only one of the 3 people to have a 50-point game in a playoff. It's Donovan Mitchell, Michael Jordan, and I can't remember who the other one is for the life of me. I'll have to look that up really quick. But I can't believe that, unfortunately for him, he couldn't will his team to the next round. But it was really just Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, of course, also coming in clutch as one of the best big men in the league. It was a tight series, a lot tighter than I had expected. And crazy that the last game they scored a combined 58 points, I think.
A ton.
Yeah, 80. No, very little. It was 80 to 78 in the final game.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I cannot remember. I can't even. And I think it was Donovan Mitchell, Michael Jordan, and Mitch Richmond. I think might be the three I'm thinking of. But man, it was just crazy. I'm very sorry to you, Utah. It's a rough year. It's rough for it to end like that, but man, Denver did clutch it out. And the last one we didn't really get to talk about, Houston and Oklahoma City, which just finished. This went down to the wire, even with Westbrook back. Cademan, thoughts?
So when I was looking at this, I mean, of course, you didn't have Westbrook first few games. What was it, like first three? Something like that.
First three, I think.
First three, yeah. And I mean, we kind of predicted that even without Westbrook, the Rockets would still win. But what surprised me, like I thought that Westbrook would be like totally 100%, like, well, maybe not 100%, but like back, like he was dominating all the games and everything with Harden, of course. But it didn't seem like that. It seemed like Harden he did less distributing through those games when Russell was there. And it seemed like Russell, I mean, of course, he was just a little slower because of his injury. But, I mean, both of the teams, like neither of the teams gave up at any point in the game. Like, we'll talk about the second round later, but we definitely saw a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the craziest thing about it all was just watching Houston barely, and I mean barely, scrape by.
Yeah. I think AJ must be gone. Yeah, I was gonna agree with him. Like with Houston, like. I mean, I don't really know what to say. It was just impressive how hard they fought. I mean, AJ's back. AJ's back among us. Okay.
Sorry about that. Sorry, my internet cut out for a second. That's on me. My bad.
Take it over.
I think the craziest thing was just watching how close to the wire these would go. I mean, we're talking 4 point, 2 points in the last 2 games. The Thunder fought hard, but look, Chris Paul's great. In my opinion, Dennis Schroeder should be our 6th man of the year, hands down. Steven Adams, one of the best big men in the league in terms of rebounding. But he needs someone else. He's a great distributor. He's a great player, but it's so close, but he needs someone else over there. And I don't know, especially that last game, there were a bunch of people scoring with Houston. I mean, Eric Gordon got into it. Robert Covington scored more points than Harden. It was crazy in the last game. And it really hurts watching the Thunder go out on that last play. James Harden with the clutch block in Game 7. And then I know they talked about this on the actual highlights. Y'all can go look it up. But the athleticism of James Harden to jump over the ball when they're trying to knock it off of him out of bounds. It's crazy.
I could not.
Crazy. And I know Thunder fans are going to be mad and be like, well, Chris Paul called timeout with however much time there was left. He was signaling for timeout. In my brain thinks, yeah, but it was also at the same time the guy let go of the ball. So, I mean, you tell me. Either way, really close series. Houston's probably going to need to step it up to beat the Lakers, and I think that's a good segue to talk about the second round. Cademan, LA Lakers, Houston Rockets, 1 seed, 4 seed. One of them had one rough game, but then just swept through Portland, and then you have Houston, who was neck and neck down to the wire. What are your thoughts on the series? What do the Lakers need to do to secure it? What does Houston need to do to overcome LeBron? Just general thoughts.
I mean, we obviously saw James Harden's athleticism in that. But I mean, still you have LeBron and Anthony Davis working together. They're so hard to defend. Like Anthony Davis going up and getting the rebounds, or even LeBron. I mean, he's great at the rebounds. They're just like both big guys, and of course they have other guys on the team too. But those are like the two guys. When you look at the Lakers, those are like the two main guys you look at. And so, I mean, then it's going to be on the Rockets. You have Harden, Westbrook. Those are the two main guys you look at on the Rockets. And so they're like comparing LeBron and Harden. This year, LeBron was better. Like his stats were better. But Harden is still great. It's just a question of like Harden can easily plow through LeBron could easily plow through Harden. So I think it's going to be more of like the big men on the Rockets. Are they able to step it up and defend LeBron and Davis? And I think that's where it's going to come really. Like I don't think it's. I don't know. I think that's where it's going to be hard for the Rockets. Like the big guys on the team, the centers, the guards. I think this is going to be a 4-2 series. The Lakers win.
I think for me, it's pretty much along the same lines. What'll be interesting to see is the Lakers. Apparently, Rajon Rondo is reportedly listed as probable, and as old as he is, what would be really interesting is if he comes back, how he's going to fit into that point guard role for LA. I think you're right that the big men are really going to have to lock up. Robert Covington's going to have to lock up. And to be fair, Russell Westbrook, when he's healthy, can be as good of a rebounder as a power forward. Like the dude can do it all. So the question for me, if I'm the Lakers, my question is, how can I not have James Harden be James Harden? Because we've seen him many times in this league. There is no one better suited to just drop 50 points in a game. There is no one there. I mean, you have people who are better shooters, maybe, who are better at getting to the rim. But when you're just talking about all around creating space, his pull-up jumper is almost impossible to stop. Harden is the best. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm thinking, how can I guard the perimeter and then lock up inside to stop Harden and then Westbrook? Because guess who could dish to each other? And they both are great finishers at the rim. If I'm the Rockets, I'm thinking, I have got to stop LeBron and AD from A, dominating the paint, and B, dominating possession in general. I think that's going to be the hardest part for the Rockets. And by no means are the Rockets pushovers. They have a lot of great players in their team, but Anthony Davis and LeBron can put up a bunch of points. They've got good synergy. Their team's got good synergy. If their front court hangs on, and even Dwight Howard now, who he may not be Superman anymore, but he still can put up points every now and then. I think it's going to be a tough series. The Rockets are going to have to play their hardest to beat LeBron and Anthony Davis. I agree with you. I think the Lakers win it 4-2, but I could see the Rockets taking him to 7. It'll be interesting to see. Rockets have just been playing games. Does that make them tired or does that make them ready? Lakers have had a week off. Does that make them rested or does that make them rusty? I think that's going to be the thing to watch in game 1.
Yeah, and I think one more thing to add on to that is that their teams are built differently. Like the Lakers are built differently. So it's going to be like the Lakers can sit many guys just down around the paint. They can just post a guy up, and sometimes they'll be able to dunk it over him, like AD or LeBron. And the Rockets, while they have like Covington and everything and other great guys, their team's built differently. The Rockets are built more around distributing because of Harden and Westbrook. So
yeah, I agree. The Rockets are offensive. The Lakers are defensive. Defensive, quote unquote. Maybe I should say the Rockets are shooters. The Lakers will get points in the paint. Maybe that's a more accurate way to say it. Yeah. Let's stick with the Western Conference for now. The number 3 Nuggets and the number 2 Clippers, both teams that had their share of tougher games, tougher opponents. Now they'll be facing each other. First thoughts on this. What do the Nuggets need to do to overcome the Clippers and their synergy, Cademan?
Oh man, that's hard. If I were the Nuggets, right now, I'd be really scared. If I were the Nuggets head coach, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just give him a ton of pep talks, create a bunch of plays, and
oh no,
against the insanely deep
oh no
of the Clippers. If I'm the Clippers right now, I'm thinking, you know what? We just can't get cocky. So, like the Nuggets have to show that they can put up a fight. Like, and I don't think many of the games will be like. I don't know. I think they're all going to be down, like at least most of them down to the wire. It's not gonna be easy for either team, but I think that the Clippers are just built to win right now. Built to win.
Yep. Yep. I pretty much agree. The Nuggets, I mean, look, Jokic is great. Jamal Murray has shown his point scoring ability. And even, I mean, Millsap ain't what he used to be. And they've got guys that can come off the bench, Porter Jr., Torrey Craig. They have good supports. The Nuggets are a good team. And they're a good team. I don't know what else to say.
It's really Jokic. Like if he's playing really well, then the rest of the team like feeds off of him and plays really well. Like especially if he's having a really high scoring game. Like he can rebound all day, and he just has to score well, because if he does, then Millsap and Grant and Morris and Murray usually all follow in suit. So the pressure is all on Jokic right now.
Yeah. And then if I'm the Clippers, I'm just thinking, look, you've got Kawhi, you've got Paul George, and you're getting Patrick Beverley back after he tweaked his left calf. They finished the series without him, and now the Nuggets are going to have to go up one of the most elite defenders in the NBA. The Clippers are great on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. The Nuggets are going to have to overcome it. I think this one also goes to 4-2, but I think the Clippers win this one a little bit more handily than the Lakers do.
I would agree.
Yep. Yep. Next up, we've got Celtics versus Raptors. And quick update to anyone watching: the Raptors win by 1
point. Oh my goodness, crazy!
Wow,
it's also
103.
Celtics won by 3 points. It's so close every game.
Crazy. You're already talking. Keep going. Celtics, Raptors. All you.
So, yeah. All right. So I mean, obviously, well, let's look at the stats from this game. I mean, obviously, you always have Pascal Siakam. Usually does really well. Well, okay. Listen to this. Kyle Lowry got 31 points, followed by Fred VanVleet 25. So they're not having none of the players are having a problem scoring, or at least the starters. However, the bench for the Raptors needs to improve. They had a total of 10 points from the bench today.
That's rough.
And if they make it through this round of the playoffs into the next round, they need a more high scoring bench.
Interesting.
The Kemba Walker on the Celtics scored 29, followed by Jaylen Brown with 19. Their bench scored, 20. So twice as much. So that's a huge help. I would say that like the rosters and the stats look pretty similar, and I think that obviously the coaching staff, the players, they're not giving up. Like everything is so close, and why don't you take it over?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing right now was game 1 of this series. The Raptors shot terribly. Everybody on their team. I cannot emphasize that enough. They were a mess, especially game 2. Fred VanVleet, their 3-point ace, 3 of 12 in game 2. But Toronto kind of showed up tonight. Lowry was in it. VanVleet was, 5 for 13, but they're 3-pointers, so you're not going to hit all of them. It's interesting because only 3, I think, of the Raptors' bench actually played. This was a very, very top-heavy team, and that's what we normally call the Celtics. We normally call them top-heavy. Oh, they only have 5 players, and after that, their bench doesn't do anything. The Raptors are needing their starters to just dominate because their bench isn't getting it done. I think that Toronto was able to scrape out a game today, and this is a team that's always been great defensively. But you've got to slow down Kemba Walker. You've got to. They stopped Tatum. They held him to 15 today, so credit there. Credit where credit's due. But you can't bring it to the wire every time against a team like Boston. It's going to be a defensive series. If any series is going to go to 7, it's going to be this one. That's my prediction. If any series goes to 7, it's going to be this one. I think it's too close to call right now. What do you think?
I think that this is a mistake by the Raptors, only letting 3 people on the bench play. Because you have to let more guys on the bench play to hopefully show what they can do, because you have to let them play against a higher level. Because once you get, like, let's say that the Bucks lose, the Raptors make it, and they play the Heat. I think they're done right there.
Really?
Because they don't have a bench, and they're going to get tired. Like, I mean, obviously they're probably getting tired in these games, like, because it's so down to the wire. Yeah. But I think it's going to be even harder against Jimmy Butler and the Heat, or Giannis and the Bucks. So, and then for the Celtics, I mean, they're doing great. Like, if Jason Tatum isn't scoring high, then Jaylen Brown or Kemba Walker is. It's not a one-man team. Yeah. It's great. They're a great team. They're obviously just – it's a ridiculous matchup. That's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah, I think for the Celtics, you're probably hoping Gordon Hayward has an even speedier recovery to help you clinch out this series. Granted, Marcus Smart's been doing a great job in his place, to be fair. If I think that the interesting thing is that these teams are pretty equal, because you've got like the Bucks strat where you have Giannis, who's your obvious star, a couple pieces that are really, really good around them, and then a solid team below that. We all know the NBA benches typically don't go that deep. With the Raptors, you've just got a bunch of great overall players: Gasol, Siakam, Lowry, Van Fleet. You look at the Celtics, you have studs all over the place: Tatum, Brown, and of course Kemba Walker, who's come alive in these last 4 games. Both of these teams are kind of top heavy. If I'm the Celtics, I'm like, we cannot let the Raptors lock us down. You've got to get everyone on your team going. And if I'm the Raptors, you may need your starters this series. It's going to be tough, but you may need them even if they're tired. It's going to be down to the wire. Last one. We saved this one for last intentionally. Milwaukee Bucks, who went up 4-1 on Orlando, and Miami, who swept the Pacers. I just want to get your thoughts on the series so far. Just everything right off the top of your head. They're down 2-0. Yeah. The Bucks are down 2-0. Go ahead. Say whatever you need to.
Okay, so, I mean, if anyone was watching the second game, it was just like the Raptors-Celtics second game. Where, I mean, it was tied at 114, and then a last-second foul on the Bucks. Jimmy Butler, of course, made both of his free throws, and that closed the game. But, I mean, the Bucks were down like 8 points with like 3 minutes to go. And all of a sudden, Chris Middleton started shooting free throws, and Giannis started hitting free throws and making layups. And so the team wasn't like giving up at all, like by no means. They definitely had a chance, but that last second foul, I hate to say it, but it was on Giannis. He thought time was over, and that closed the game. So what I'm thinking right now is, for sure, if the Heat win next game 3, it's definitely over. I think everyone would say that. I'm guessing everyone would say that. Hopefully, would you agree with that?
I don't know if you can truly count the Bucks out, but it'd be next to over, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd be almost there.
Yeah, So in game 1, though, what I was noticing is that Giannis, well, he just wasn't like playing like himself. And I mean, he was coming from playing the Magic, which is like a lower level, and then he all of a sudden moved to Jimmy Butler. So that's really hard for like any starter, but he only scored like 18 or 20 that
I mean,
game.
he did get a double-double, 18 points, 10 rebounds, I think.
Yeah, I mean, but
he almost got a triple-double, 9 assists. Yeah.
He has to score. Like, because when it feels like whenever he just gets off on a hot start, like in the first quarter, it makes Brook Lopez easier to get open, especially on the 3. And then it makes Chris Middleton easier to get it out to. And so when Giannis has an amazing first quarter, it changes the whole game. Giannis didn't have an amazing first quarter in either the first or the second game. So that's why it was hard. So, I mean, like, yeah, you had Giannis scoring 29 points at the end of last game, but he didn't have the amazing first quarter. And so, I mean, their bench still scored pretty well, but it wasn't enough because Jimmy Butler, he have like a 40-point game the first game.
It was 40 points.
So sad. The Bucks defense was terrible.
It was, especially in the paint. They just let him run all over them.
It was so sad. And Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic, like everyone was like showing up the Bucks, especially in the first game.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to look for in the third game.
I think it's gonna be. It's a strange series because both of them are taking a step up. From the Bucks, you got to play the Magic, who, I mean, you lost the first game, but I mean, sure, you went on to win 4 straight. If you're the Heat, I mean, you just swept Indiana. Now you got to step up and play Giannis, stinking DPOY, and also probably the MVP as well.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about game 1 was, yes, we know the Bucks defense that game was terrible. We get it. But game 2, and I know some Bucks fans are going to yell, it wasn't a foul on Giannis, but then Heat fans are going to yell, well, it wasn't a foul on the shot before that. So, I mean, 2 fouls in the last 5 seconds leading to the end of the game. Both of them were close calls. As a ref, that's tough to make, even though both of them may be technically in the rule book. You can't be in the place where the guy's going to come down. You can't make contact immediately after the shot, all of that kind of stuff. Technically, yes, they probably will be fouls. And it was clutched by Jimmy Butler to make those last 2. I think the interesting thing to me was the fact that the Heat didn't need Butler to star the entire game because the team was great. Bam got 15. Crowder got 16. Goran got 23. Off the bench, Tyler Hero got 17. Or maybe not off the bench because, I mean, he did play 32 minutes. But Duncan Robinson played 27 minutes. He got 13. You had 6 different players. Sorry, wait, is that 7? My bad.
7. Yeah.
7. Yep. Okay. Thank you. 7 different players scored 10 plus points. And I think that is the thing that if anything else is going to take them is that they're so good as a unit, which is really interesting to me. If they need Butler to step up, he obviously can. And if they need their bench to step up, they can. And what hurts watching the Bucks, especially in game 1, was, guys, you had an 11-point lead in the first quarter in game 1, and then you let Jimmy Butler play. And then game 2, you had an 11-point lead. You blew that, but you still hung on because you were clutch enough to get it done. It's a tough series, and I wonder if part of it, looking back, hey, guess what? The Heat are 4-1 against the Bucks this year. We talked a lot before the playoffs started about, are the 76ers or the Celtics maybe? They're the teams that can knock them off. Heat have a winning record against the Bucks this year. So as a Bucks fan, Cademan, what does Giannis and Milwaukee need to do to beat Jimmy Butler and company?
Starting with Giannis, I'd say he just needs to have the amazing first quarter because it gets the whole team pumped up. And it just makes the whole game pumped up. It makes them move faster. And then the other thing I would say about the Bucks is I think Mike Budenholzer has made a huge mistake in putting Wesley Matthews as a starter.
Interesting.
George Hill should easily be there. He's scoring so much better. He distributes.
I think Hill is starting.
Matthews.
I think they're running with Matthews and Hills. With Hill, yeah, both of them.
Matthews, right. Matthews has been starting the past couple games and has not been scoring well. And even against the Magic, he wasn't scoring well.
Well, to be fair, Hill against the Heat only put up 8 points in game 1 too.
Yeah, but he put up. He's with the less amount of time, he's still scoring way more and way better than Wesley Matthews. So I think it's kind of a mistake.
Well, not game 1. He played 12 more minutes and got 1 more point. Granted, he had 4 assists. I think it's game 2 where I think Eric Bledsoe started ahead of him. That's when he pulled in 26 minutes and scored more than Matthews.
Yeah. George Hill, though, also I just feel like, I mean, obviously he has like the 3-point shot. He's the best. Maybe.
On the Bucks, on the Bucks. I would say Fred VanVleet's probably the best deep shooter right now, or Harden, one of them.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, but I think George Hill had the best like completion percentage. I think that was what it was this year.
You mean field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage?
And, no, 3-point percentage. And last year, I believe he had it both years. So I think he has like a much bigger effect on the Bucks than Fred VanVleet, and then what was I going to say? Than Wesley Matthews.
Gotcha. I
think they should put him in more, and I think they should, even though Wesley Matthews is really good and he goes to the rim a lot, and when he does, he usually makes it. George just seems like an all-around better player. So that's my thoughts on that.
Gotcha. I think for the Bucks to win, and also I think this year Matt Thomas actually ended up having the best 3-point field goal percentage this year. I just looked that up. Yeah, he barely beat him out, but it was really close. He's still top 2. But what's interesting, I think, is that if I'm the Bucks, I need to get not just Giannis, but everybody going. Middleton's playing out of his mind. 20-plus points in 2 straight games. But him and Giannis, I don't think can do it alone when you look at the cohesiveness of the Heat and how much their team contributes to the game. If I'm the Bucks, you have to get Lopez. I mean, he put up 24 points in game 1. You've got to get your bench going, especially, even though Korver's doing the best he can. You've got to get everyone working as a unit to stop the Heat. And if I'm the Heat, do not have a defensive breakdown like last time. And I know that's easier said than done, but y'all had an 11-point lead with 3 minutes. Y'all need to keep that lead, hold on to that, and you'll be good. That's the thing that you need to do. And just let your team play the team chemistry game that they've been having, because you can't really get stopped.
I mean, but also, like, the Heat have been playing, like, this doesn't necessarily show in the stats, but the Heat have been playing aggressive defense. And Giannis just needs to get past that. I mean, that's why he only scored like 18 in the first game. Because they were being so aggressive, but they were being careful with their fouls. And it was just really hard for the Bucks to do much. So they got to step it up this game.
Yeah. It's going to be a wild ride for game 3. Game 3 is tomorrow at 5:30, I believe. Oh man, it's gonna be interesting. That game is gonna be very telling. So,
I'm frustrated with the Bucks right now. Getting seed like last year, and it seems like they're not gonna make it past the second round.
It's going to be close. It's going to be down to the wire. We're hoping for you, Cade. We're hoping for you. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap us up for tonight. Quick update. The Flyers have tied the Islanders at 4. They're going to go to overtime. Islanders trying to take the series tonight. Philadelphia needs 2 games. 1 if they win tonight. We go to game 7. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching. I know we've got 2 viewers apparently watching right now. Drop a comment and a like. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Really enjoy making these videos. Just let us know. Keep us posted. Cademan, as always, finish us with our verse.
We're going to use the same one, but we'll have a different one next time. 2 Corinthians 4:6. For God who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," has shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Sports update. Nuggets up by 1 point, 17-16 over the Clippers with 5 minutes in the first quarter.
All right. Good start. Good start there. And Cayman, did you have anything to pull out today? I know you said you're having a hard time finding something.
Yeah, I don't know where my Dwayne Wade cards are, and I don't have anything sporty around me, so I'm just going to pull out an electric guitar. Yeah.
Nice.
And it's fun. Yeah. What you got, AJ?
For me, I'm going to stick with the same theme that I went with last time. I know this might be cheesy, but I love this. I love this Black Panther action figure, man, with the Blue Panther on the chest and everything. I really, really like this one, just keeping with the same theme right now. Yeah. So yeah, I literally am just listening to the soundtrack just all week and the score all week this week. So yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap us up. I hope you all have a great night. Cayman, I hope you have a great night as well. Good luck to your Bucks tomorrow. We'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow night. Hopefully tomorrow night.
News episode. Yeah.
Yep, because we got a lot to talk about. But until then, and hopefully we'll have our theme song, because you have made the theme song.
I made the theme song. I sent it to MJ, and now we have to make a video along with it. So
yes.
Yeah.
We're very excited. So we will see you guys next time. This is the one and only Allied Rivals